Hey guys, my name is Christian. Hopefully you're all doing well. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought that we'd do a comparison where we're going to take an analog tube saturation device and put it up against the in-the-box equivalent. So tubes for most people out there are associated with glue, vibe, and color, but what does it really do to the sound? So for today's test, I have a very heavy metal mix that I did a couple of years ago, and if you like what you hear, you can definitely hire me, so hit me up on my email down below. I wouldn't say that it's the best practice to put a finished mix through a tube saturation device, but for this test, I think it will do just fine. If you like, you can download the high-res files, and with that said, let's check out the tube saturation test. Alright, so here we have the session, and we are going to listen to two different comparisons. First, we have a full mix containing 4 different stems, drums, bass, guitars, and synths, all processed the same. I really tried to be careful when I did the measurements, so I measured the signal going into the saturation units, and then I measured the LUFS to level match everything. But of course, the transient response will be different on all of the tracks. Then we're going to listen to the drum track pushed even further, so I added more saturation, but keep in mind that the Cassiopeia plugin and hardware is very subtle, so they won't go into, crazy distortion or anything. But I pushed them further to see what happens if we added more saturation. All right, so let's take a listen. Alright guys, so that was the comparison. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and don't forget that you can download the high-res files. All right, so I wouldn't say that best practice is to put a finished mix through a saturation device like this. So the untreated mix sounds a little bit wider, a little bit more natural, and has better transient response. So if we leave it at that and talk about the comparison between the hardware and the plugin, I would say that they both sound great, but a little bit different. So the Analogue sounds a little bit richer in the harmonic content to my ears. It also seemed to shave off the transient a little bit more, but also thickens up the whole mix. So I really enjoy what it does to the drums. The plugin sounds great and does its own thing, and it's really my kind of secret sauce when it comes to mixing. I use it all the time, but there's definitely a small difference between the two. So if we talk about the drum track that I showed you guys, where I pushed the saturation even further, the kind of soft clipping that happens with a device like this can really help you in the final stage of the mastering. Getting those transients under control will really help you with the last kind of volume push that you might need. And if you mix into a plugin or a hardware device like this, you can really, sculpt the mix and get the kind of right transient response that you like. But of course, when you do a comparison like this, strap it on a finished mix, you can definitely hear that you lose a little bit of that transient on the drums in particular. So all in all, I think they all sound great. Saturation should really be part of your mixing. It's a thin line, of course. If you overdo it, you'll get a mushy, oversaturated mix with no transients. But if you don't use it at all, you might get that kind of digital sound that we usually try to work against when we want to get a good sounding mix. All right, download the high-res files, check them out, and if you enjoy this kind of content, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys around.